Hello, hello, and welcome to this prophetic pop up. I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor, and I want you to share this out, especially for singles, and not just single women, singles. It's going to be a word for everybody, but specifically, I believe that this word is going to be a blessing for singles. And so I want you guys to help me, do me a favor, and share this with somebody. Get them on, let them know it's on and popping, and there is a word from the Lord, and I want us to be able to hear and heed. I don't. This is not. First of all, it's not something that I regularly talk about, and the Lord has never actually given me any type of word like this. But you always know that I say I never know what is tied to my obedience. And one thing I'm going to be, if I'm not going to be anything else, is I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to always be obedient to the word of the Lord and do whatever it is that He is requiring of me to do. But it's going to be good, and I don't want anybody to miss it. So wherever you are watching me from, I would, we used to say in the old day, it would behoove you to get somebody on, share this with somebody, tag them in, and tell them that there is a word from the Lord that I believe is going to bless all of us. But specifically, I believe that this word is going to be a blessing to singles. Again, I do not take my assignments lightly when the Lord gives me something that He wants me to release, and especially in this area, which He does not really give me words about at all. But at the end of the day, it's my assignment or nothing. And whichever way He is moving, my saying, when He move, I move just like that. And so He's moving, and so I'm moving. Hello and welcome to all of you all on this evening, as I just prepare to share a testimony and then share what the Lord gave me, that I believe is going to be a blessing for us all, in the totality of who we are and where we are. But specifically, I believe that there is a special message to single, but there also inside of this word is a word about preparation. Also inside of this word is the continuing theme about preparing for what's coming. And if you did not catch the last prophetic pop-up that I did, I guess a week ago, how to prepare for what's coming, I talked about a preparation plan for profitability, and or a prophetic perspective about profitability. And so if you guys did not get a chance to watch that, it is on YouTube, and I think it's still on Facebook. And I believe that word is going to help you, especially if you are a leader, if you are a creative. It is going to, an entrepreneur, it is going to give you a preservation plan that the Lord released to me. And in the same theme, I see that the Lord is consistently giving me words about preparing, but in different aspects. And when we think about preparing, we initially focus on one type of preparation. But I just heard the Lord say we're in prep mode. He's just been speaking to me about that since Sunday, that we are in prep mode. And in that prep mode, I believe that it comes with instructions and intentionality. And I think that that is what He has me really leaning into in this season, is instructions and intentionality, hearing very clearly about what it is that He is doing and wanting to do, and then intentionality, being focused on following those directives to a T, and following them quickly, and following them with the right heart posture. And so instructions and intentionality is kind of what the recurring theme that I've noticed in this, as He's calling it for me, prep mode. And so I want to share with you all a testimony or a story, the story time tonight, about how this word came about. And then, like I said, He gave it to me Sunday. And I remember Him speaking about, you're going to need to release that word. And so I've just been letting it kind of marinate in my spirit. And then now He was like, yeah, release it tonight. And so again, I'm just going to be obedient. This is completely if I may be honest, outside of my comfort zone. I do not get up here talking to no singles about nothing. But also, he showed me the bigger word that is, I believe, for all of us, and it is centered around relationships, and it is going to be a prophetic perspective about relationships and some things to be aware of in our own selves and in others as we continue to move forward. So thank you guys. I see you guys that are on, that are sharing. I appreciate you guys that are watching and being a part of this. But it's, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say what he says. And so, singles, it's your turn tonight to get this word. But also everybody who is watching, I believe that you're gonna walk away with something that's gonna be a blessing to you all. So even if you're watching a replay or if you're watching for the first time, my name is Dr. Elisa, and I'm grateful to the Lord just for having assignments. I'm grateful for the many hats that He has released me to wear, whether it's founder or coach or mentor or apostolic covering, prophetic voice, whatever that is, strategist, teacher. I'm grateful to God for positioning me in that way, and then releasing me entrusting me with words to release to His people in its timing. So I see you guys tapping in. Thank you guys again for joining. Keep sharing. Tag somebody in, because they're going to need to get this from the rooter to the tutor, and I don't want them to come and miss anything. But if you did come in late, go back and watch it from the beginning so that you don't miss what the Lord is saying in this season. So I'll start by saying a few things. One is, and I released this, like I said last week, in the prophetic word that I gave about how to prepare for what's coming. I believe that we should be, and I've been saying this since the end of December, that this was going to be the year of demonstration, where we were going to see what He said, and that there was going to be a twofold part of the word of the Lord that would be released, and part of it would be, as the angel told Mary, that there will be a performance of the things that God has spoken to you if you believe. And then I think the other part of it is that in Isaiah, when the Bible says that, when God says, "For so long I've kept quiet, I've been silent, and I held myself back, but like a woman in travail, I'm about to cry out, I'm going to destroy and devour at the same time." And we are seeing the manifestation of those things. At the same time, I believe that God is also putting us in a place of preparation. And again, in my last live that I did, how to prepare for what's coming, was giving us a prophetic perspective about profitability. And if you did not watch that, I would encourage you to watch that. It really talked about how to position yourself, how to get yourself ready financially and entrepreneurially. But even if you are a leader, and some things that I believe are coming down the line as it relates to algorithms and censorship and stuff, and how to package up your intellect and your expertise and put it in a place where people can access it. So I did a lot of talking, and released some wisdom about that. And I also, and I'll mention this again at the end, I'm excited that next weekend I'll be having a virtual workshop, and I'm encouraging you guys to sign up, called Revelation Revenue Weekend. And I'll be teaming up with the attorney Takora Davis, who is a trademarks attorney, who's going to be talking to you about the weight of your proprietary framework, what you already know, your intellect, the things that you've been teaching and showing folks how to do and doing, and how to position that so you can profit from it and so that you can own it. Because I think in this next season, it's going to be important that we own our stuff, but also that we package it somewhere. I'm doing a segment in Revelation Revenue Weekend called Eviction Notice. And if we got displaced from our place, whether it's at church or whether it's in our job or whether it is in our on our social media platform, do we have a plan if we lose our place? And so I'm very much so encouraging you guys to go to revelationrevenue.com and grab you a spot. We have some payment options available. ago, because we're really going to be digging in and teaching and training on that. So in this same vein of preparation, the Lord said that was preparation for profitability. Now I'm going to give you a word about preparation for partnership. Somebody ought to say there's prep for partnership. And sometimes, if we're honest, people don't always show us how to prepare for partnership. Whether you are in a place where you want to be married, or whether you're just looking for a friend, or you're looking to connect with a different type of people to network. There's preparation, there's prep work that still needs to be done before there is a partnership. And so the Lord began to speak to me about that, but He did it in a very odd and unusual way. And I learned that He was doing that because He wanted to teach me the message. He wanted to teach me what needed to be done. And so this word is going to prayerfully give you some instructions, but an aha moment, a revelation about what it is that God is doing. And I'm always thankful when God loves us enough to give us insight into how He is. One of the things I teach as the founder of one of the most amazing communities in the world, the Grow Gathering, is I teach them about not just knowing who God is, but we need to understand how God is. Teach us your ways. So I need to know how God is. And so God began revealing to me how He is as it relates to preparation for partnerships. And so this prophetic word is going to begin with my own story of something that the Lord did this weekend with me. I was in my prayer and time with the Lord, and he said something very unusual to me. He said, I don't know if you guys follow me on social media, you'll know that about a month ago, I was talking about how TikTok had got me, and I had ordered some stuff. And one of the things that I ordered from TikTok was these steppers. I'm one of the ones, I love to walk, and but I don't like going necessarily to walk on a treadmill. I don't really like the inside space. I love being outside. But I was aware that with the weather being crazy, sometimes so hot and sometimes just full of thunderstorm, I still wanted to be able to get my walks in. And so I ordered this stepper, and that has, very compact, and man, I think will wear you out. And so, but I had put it up because if you've been following me, I got a little baby named Max, my Bernedoodle, and he gets really excited when I'm out stepping, and I guess he thinks it's a dance-a-thon, and so he gets really excited. So I put it up because he was chewing the rubber off of the bottom of my stepper. And one thing about us is we can fall into this out of sight, out of mind thing, right? And so on Sunday, the Lord said to me, He said, I want you to wake up at this time, and I want you to get out your stepper, and I want you to watch, and I want you to tune into this message, and then I want you to listen for instructions. And one thing about me, I always teach my people that delayed obedience is still disobedience. So I have learned to hear and heed. And so I set my alarm. I got my tail up. I got out I thought it was a very odd request. I got out my stepper, and which meant that I had to put my little workout clothes on, put my little strap up, my little my Nikes, and I got in front of the TV to watch this message, and I'm stepping and I'm listening. I'm stepping and I'm listening at the same time. He was already trying to show me something. And so as I am stepping, I am hearing, and the Lord then begins to speak to me. And so after I was listening, He said, okay, now sit, I have a word. I need to give you a word. And so I took out my phone and just began taking these copious notes that He was giving me. And so one of the things that He said, so here are a couple of things I want you to do. And one of the particular things that He shared with me, He said, and so next week, I don't want you eating any beef. No beef next week. Now, for those that know me, I love beef. And not that I eat it often, but I just love it. And you know how it is when you don't even really be wanting stuff all the time, but as soon as somebody tell you you can't have it, you just get this insatiable desire for that particular thing. I ain't thought about it for days. And then somebody say you can't have it. And now it just, and but because God is so gracious, he went ahead and he began to write down. He said, now take notes. I'm going to tell you outside of beef, here are the things that you can eat. So, I'm taking these notes and I'm just saying, all right, I hear you. And so I remember having to get out later that evening after worship, and because I broke a nail, and I was like, well, let me go get my nail fixed. And while I'm there, I'll run by the store. I'm a Target chick. But I was like, well, now if I'm not going to be eating beef, then, I probably better go to Publix because, usually when I go to Publix, they got these little cute little this, and I can grab some of this and go through. And so the Lord just politely said to me, no, I want you to go to Whole Foods. And I was like, what? And so I remember I was like, now I got to try to Google to find out where is Whole Foods. So I'm Googling, trying to find out where Whole Foods is. And I found the Whole Foods, and I go because I'm like, okay, now, first of all, I have not been to this Whole Foods. I already know it's going to be expensive, and I already kind of got an attitude because, I have some things in mind that I would like to purchase. And I already know before I get there that those things aren't there. They are not there because I know where they are, and I know that they are not here at Whole Foods, right? And so I'm already a little, iffy about rolling up in there. And so I get to Whole Foods, and I didn't even want to get no cart because I was like, I'm not trying to be broke rolling up out of here. And but then the Lord was like, but if it were Target, you wouldn't even blink. And I was like, ooh, see, I don't know how the Lord speak to y'all, but when it's me, baby, he does not hold punches. And so in my conviction, I just, sashayed my little tail right up there and got a cart. And so I'm going through Whole Foods, and I'm listening and I'm looking, and because I realize that there is a spiritual connotation to what's going on. He's already told me no beef for the next week, and so I'm like, okay, no problem. And he's already given me some options, and then he says, but then also go to Whole Foods. So I'm in Whole Foods, and I'm going through the produce section, and I'm getting some fruit, and I'm going down the aisle, and he's leading me to different things, and he's saying, so hey, I want you to don't get frozen fish, get this fresh salmon. I want you to get that. And then I'd be walking, and he'll say, come and get this. And so I'd be looking, and I'm gonna tell you, because I was looking crazy, because my brand was not there. I know what I like. And so, one of the things that I was coming to get was some rice, and I was like, I already know what brand rice I like, and it's easy to prep, and and I already know they don't have my brand. And he was like, do you know that you like the brand, or do you like the contents? What is it that because there's rice here too. And I was like, oh, I mean, I know it's rice here, but it's not my brand. And he's like, right, and is the right, but the rice is healthier here, and probably better packaged here. And so, I still kind of had an attitude, and begrudgingly, I'm looking through this rice, and I'm like, fine. I mean, I guess if I just gotta get this rice from Whole Foods, knowing it's better, but it costs more, then let me get it. And then he was like, wait. I also want you to go through and get some tea. Now, I don't drink tea. I don't drink. As a matter of fact, I can't stand tea, and especially hot tea. Absolutely not. But he leads me down this aisle, and he says, yeah, you're going to get this tea, and you're going to get this tea. And so I did that. And then he brings me to the other produce section. And so I got these celery sticks with this chicken salad in it, and these different things. And it's funny because there's an ice cream that I like, that they don't sell much, and it's a certain brand, and I think it's a chocolatey Eclair. They don't sell those really a lot, and nowhere than I am. And I remember he said, "Stop by the ice cream aisle," and I'm going, and there is this chocolate bar that's made like a chocolate eclair, except the healthy version of it. And I was like, I don't want that mess. And he was like, get this ice cream. So I get the ice cream. And so now I'm looking crazy because my cart is filling up. And I had already heard how expensive Whole Foods is. And again, but he had already convicted me that if I were at Target, I wouldn't be talking this trash. So I'm going through and I get to the counter. And as I predicted, it was expensive. And so, I'm looking at these little bags like, so I get my little paper bags because they're gonna give you paper, not plastic. And I get my little paper bags and I am rolling my eyes about this whole food grocery run. And I wasn't even that stressed about not eating beef. But I was kind of had an attitude about that Whole Foods. And so as I was going home, I said, "So are you gonna tell me what this is about?" And the Lord said to me, "What this is about prep work." And I said, "Okay, well, what about prep work?" And he said, "This is really about prep work for partnerships." And I believe that this word is going to help us all, but I believe that it is specifically going to connect to singles. And he said a couple of things in this next season that I need to create an awareness about. And I'm going to share some a teaching that I did on just one part of this teaching that I did as a part of our Bible study series. We call it Revelation Realm. But in March, I did this series, 4-week series called The Diet of Discipline. And this series was so profound because the Lord had broken down the Word of God and actually had me to do research on food, research on our emotions, being disciplined in our emotions, and literal things. And so we literally got into dieting and diet diaries and cravings, and we got into the philosophy of junk food and the psychology behind cravings, and literally, if you're a part of the Grow Gathering, or if you'd like to be, it's free to join. You can go back and watch this series. I am going to share the first lesson tonight because the Lord said to me that it is going to be so pivotal for us in this season. And so the Lord began to speak and give me this prophetic word for singles as it related to that little story about him telling me to let go of beef for this week, and then sending me to Whole Foods. So he said to me a couple of things. He said, in this next season, as you are preparing for partnership, there is something that is going to be a telltale sign of what is acceptable and what is not. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet, if you will, that is going to help you see how to diagnose before a discussion. He said, I'm going to, as it relates to singles, but as it relates to those preparing for partnership, this word is going to be for all of us. And he said, but I'm going to show you something for us to be conscious about and for us to have a changing our perspective for partnership. And this is, like I said, prep work. He said, so here is what has happened. We, in this next season, the cheat sheet for who to connect with and who is safe to partner with is going to be something very intentional. And that thing is going to be health consciousness. And I said, wait, what? Because you be looking for a sign, God, if you sending somebody, or if you, how can I know? And he said, the sign in this season for the green light for partnerships. Hear me. Whether it is you're single and believing God for a spouse, or whether you are getting ready to connect with people, you're saying, God, I'm looking for my tribe, or I'm looking for someone who can work with me, and all of these things. God said to me that a signal, a divine signal of intentionality is going to be health consciousness. And so I said, can you give me a little bit more clarity about health conscious? Because, if you saying, we got to be fine as wine and child, because we still working on some of our places been well loved, and we still working on children and those things. And he said health consciousness is a mindset that is followed by a discipline. And I said, wait a minute, whoa, hold on. Give me that again. He said, health consciousness is exactly what it is. It is an awareness followed by an intentionality. And I said, oh, this is so good. He said, this next season is going to be because health consciousness is connected to discipline. I wish somebody would catch this revelation. Thank you guys for joining and tagging people and sharing this, because this is a prophetic word about partnership and perception and preparation that the Lord gave me. And he said it's about consciousness. It is about understanding what is happening and being intentional about how to do things. I'm telling y'all, and I need y'all to hear this, because I'll take ouches and amens. This is going to tell on you, and it's also going to tell to you. So it's going to work both ways. So whether it's you are searching for or you want to be found, a telltale sign of what's happening to you and how you operate in different areas is going to be connected to health consciousness, because health consciousness is connected to intentionality, and intentionality is connected to discipline. The Bible says it like this in James. It says that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And anytime I preach, I tell the people of God to say, and all means all. And so if I am double-minded, if I vacillate back and forth when it comes to my finance, then I'm going to vacillate back and forth when it comes to my fitness. Y'all ain't hearing me. And if I vacillate back and forth when it comes to my fitness, I'm going to vacillate back and forth when it comes to my friendships. I just need y'all to hear this. And if I vacillate back and forth when it comes to my friendship, I wouldn't be surprised if I vacillated back and forth when it came to my future. And so all means all. And so the Lord started speaking to me about health consciousness. He said the Bible talks to us about loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And one of the things that we have gotten twisted, we have gotten inside out, is we'll turn around and we will make sure other people are taken care of. We'll make sure they eat well. We'll make sure they stay away from the wrong things. But then when it comes to us, we'll eat anything and we'll do whatever we want to do. And we can't love our neighbor. And God is showing me that it is a telltale sign. It's a telltale sign, man. Y'all better hear this. When you don't give yourself enough sleep. Oh, you wake up early, but you also go to bed late. It's not a sign of health consciousness. When you overindulge on stuff that you know is gonna hurt your stomach later, but you say, I'm gonna just take these pills to ease the discomfort because baby, I gotta eat what I want to eat. Health consciousness, when you know that you spend the majority of your time indoors and insulated, with this air that is not sterile, but you don't take the time to get up early to go outside and get some fresh air and get some sun. Health consciousness, when we'll get our favorite smoothie, but we'll look over the water. Health consciousness is when we've been sitting in front of a computer all day or can watch a Netflix marathon for hours and hours, but we won't get up and we won't walk and give our body some exercise. And he's showing that there is a correlation between how we treat ourselves and how we treat somebody else, and how we will allow somebody else to treat us. Because he showed me health consciousness is going to be a factor in these relationships in this season. Because if we will put ourselves on the back burner, you making sure everybody else eat, you making sure everybody else taken care of, but then you neglect yourself, then it is very likely that you're going to subject yourself to someone who will put you on the back burner and not take you seriously and not make you a priority. I'll take the ouches and the amens in the house. He said to me that a telltale sign in this season was going to be health consciousness. And he said to me, because if you're searching for a mate, if you are looking for somebody that you are going to want to spend your time with, they're going to believe that their body is a temple, and they're going to be very intentional about what they put in it and what they let at it. And so a lot of times we looking for a spouse everywhere but the gym. We looking for a spouse everywhere else, and a partnership everywhere but somewhere outside walking. We going everywhere else, and we can go to a concert, but we can't go to the grocery store, to home foods, and go to the places where there are people connected to health consciousness. And so a telltale sign, I'm telling you, in this next season is watching how you discipline, how you temper your temple, and watching how people temper theirs. I can't get no help in this place. I feel like I feel like I'm teaching better than y'all typing these comments. I appreciate the amens that I'm getting. Some of y'all hollering back at me. I appreciate it. Let me take it a step further. What the Lord said to me, and so I said, "Now, Lord, okay, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing this correlation with health consciousness. He's showing me that a person who is health conscious, that means that they're going to be intentional about what they put in, what they put on. They're going to be disciplined because they know that they have to get up at a certain time to be able to work out. They know that they're going to have to deny themselves certain pleasure. It's in order to achieve the maximum that they need in order for their bodies to operate well. They're going to stay on top of their numbers. They're going to, and when I say they numbers, somebody going to hear me. I ain't just talking about weight. They're going to stay on top of their numbers. They're going to stay on top. If you're going to stay on top of your numbers with weight, I believe you're going to stay on top of your numbers with your bank account. And so we got to understand all means all. And so when we began to start seeking after wholeness, health consciousness, which is connected to wholeness, do you understand that in the Bible, when you deal with wholeness, it's connected to healing, to healthy. And if you break out the word healthy, you get two words: heal, thy. I feel like I'm preaching up in here. Heal thy. That means you need to worry about being healed. And do you know that the word heal means to bring to a conclusion? I need y'all to hear this: to bring something to a conclusion, to make a decision about how you're going to be intentional about something or another. And so the Lord, I began to say to the Lord, can you connect this to why I had to go to Whole Foods? He said, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to give you the part two, the next level of how are you going to be able to differentiate what is healthy for you in this season, what is healed, what is whole in this next season. Who can you connect to? Who can you allow in? He said, but at first I got to deal with I got to deal with your mindset, your perspective. I've got to give you some perspective in order for you to have preparation. And he said, I sent you to a place that you would not normally go. Man, singles in the house ought to be able to hear, pick up what I'm putting down. He said, I sent you to a place you would normally not go, because you're going to go to a place where you're comfortable. You're going to go to a place where you know your way around. You're going to default to a place where you already know the ropes because it gives you the advantage. Somebody gonna catch this. Listen, if this is blessing y'all, can y'all throw a number one in the comments? I just need to take a break because I'm on a flow, and I want to make sure that you guys are getting this, that you guys are understanding this word. Because if it's for you, just throw me a number one in the comments. I just want to make sure that this is relatable and that you are hearing the word of the Lord in this prophetic word. Like I said, God never gives me words about singles. He's given me words on relationships before. He's given me different types of words, but this word in particular, I'm like, God, I'm in the middle of trying to do this Revelation Revenue Weekend, and bam, this is a word about preparation for relationships and preparation for partnerships. And he says, yeah, release this word now. It needs to be now, when the fullness of time has come. And I see y'all in the comments. I appreciate it. And he says, so the first thing that I'm having to do to you is send you to a place you would not normally go. Because when you go to where you normally go, then you're going to do what you normally do. Y'all better hear me by the Spirit. And so you already know what the setup is at Target. You already know you're not going to explore nothing different. You're going to go to the aisles that you already know. You're going to go to the brands that you can already recognize, and ain't nothing new going to be put inside of that buggy. You know, we from the South, so we don't say cart, a buggy, baby. And he said, and there's nothing new that you're going to do. So I had to send you, I got to change your perspective. I'm trying to help us. And he said, so I sent you to a place where it is not familiar. It's putting it's now leveling the playing field. You ain't coming out being so cocky. You ain't coming out being so confident. You walking, there's a little trepidation. You're being a little tentative about the way you move, and you got to investigate a little deeper now, because you can't judge nothing by its label. I feel like running, but I got to get this word out. I'm trying to tell y'all. He said, see, the problem is when you go to the place, had I sent you to Target, had I even sent you over to Publix, you still would have defaulted to what you already knew. You would have went over to the places and you would have picked out what you had already tried before. Oh, he said, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to give you an appetite change. Can y'all receive this prophetic word? I am giving you an appetite change. And so I'm going to teach you guys just a little piece of that tonight. And I welcome you all. If you are not a part of the Grow Gathering, we have Revelation Realm every Monday night. And in March, I taught an amazing 4-week series called The Diet of Discipline. And I'm only going to show you one part of it that I feel that the Lord has led me to release tonight. But one of the things that I taught in that is that you change your atmosphere by changing your appetite. I'm just going to say that one more time. You change your atmosphere by changing your appetite. Why is it that I'm always attracting people who petty and people who prone to cheat and be dishonest and people who are so calculated? Because what's in you, it's on you. Oh my goodness. And because you have not put yourself, again, I told you that the Lord said that all of this is connected to health consciousness. And when we are not conscientious about being healthy for ourselves, it is very easy for us to subject ourselves to people who will not value us in that way. So you actually change your atmosphere when you change your appetite. And so God said, I'm doing an overhaul on your appetite, and I'm taking something that you think has substance and I'm substituting it with something else. And so he, again, for the whole week, he said, you don't get to eat beef this week. And here are some things that you can eat. He didn't even restrict me. And this is very intentional about what the Lord did. He could have said, you can only eat this. I don't want you eating no meat. I want you eating it. He said, no, 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 no. I just want to take this one thing from you, because by taking this foundational thing, because a lot of stuff that you do, you prepare it with this as the foundation. I'm moving it so that you got to do an overhaul in the whole way that now you got to sit down and you got to actually think through what you're going to eat every day. You actually got to prep and plan. I'm preaching in this house. And he said, you actually got to prepare this time, because now you can't default to what you usually do, because I'm taking what used to be your foundation. It was a faulty foundation. You change your atmosphere when you change your appetite. And so he said, I sent you to Whole Foods again because I took out your comfort zone. You don't know your way around Whole Foods. You don't know where everything is, and you also don't recognize no labels, because you're not gonna come in there seeing Heinz 57. You're not gonna go in there and see Success Rice, and you're not gonna go in there and see Hershey's, and you're not gonna go in there and see Lay's, and you're not gonna go in there and see Pepsi. You're not going to go in there, and you're not going to be fooled by the facades. I feel like running. I'm taking you to Whole Foods because here we strip off labels and we show you what's on the inside. Man, I hope somebody is catching this revelation. And so he said, so here it is, because again, if I send you somewhere familiar, y'all hear this in the spirit as it relates to relationships. If you go by what you usually like, and even by you saying, well, one thing about it, I don't like men like this. Well, how do you know? You're judging by labels, by what you think you like, and only because you've only had a certain kind of taste. And he started talking to me about acquired taste, and he started talking to me about how a lot of the times we will have acquired a taste for something because we have access to it, and we'll sit there, and because it's what we've already always had, and we just say, well, out of these, this is the one I like, this is the one I don't like. And now we have conditioned ourselves to only look at that particular area. Man, I hope I'm helping. But when I got to Whole Foods, I felt out of my comfort zone. I didn't feel confident because now I can't judge stuff off of a familiar label. So I had to investigate. I had to not look at the label and start looking at the ingredients. And what was beautiful about this was the Lord said, well, the great thing is that you're in Whole Foods. And so everything here is going to be packaged pure. Everything here is going to specifically be cultivated and harvested in a way that is healthy. But I can only broaden your selection when you let me put you in a place of wholeness. So instead of you trying to weed out the good one and the bad one, no, it's all good because you're now in a place of whole foods. I hope I'm helping us. So he said, so as you're going through, it's causing you to challenge the narratives that you have reiterated to yourself for so long. You think that this is the only kind of ketchup that you like because out of all of the selections, every single one of them has had these type of preservatives and these artificial additives. But I'm bringing you into another place where you have actually not sampled any of them, and it's more than one variety, but they a name brand. Oh, I hear Jesus. He said in this next season, you can't be fooled by name brand. These labels, these most of the labels basically just gave the name of whatever the product was. There was no fancy, it wasn't trying to be fancy. If I was looking for butter, it said butter, and it's this kind of butter. And if I'm looking for cheese, baby, it's cheese, and it just is going to tell you what types of cheese it is because it came from a farm. They all came from the farm. You need to know the farm it came from, and this is the types. I wasn't looking for craft, man. Y'all better hear me in here. And I said, see, because I can just tell you right now, this is gonna be a waste of my money because I like name brand. Y'all hear me? Listen, I was brought up. My daddy, he would be like, yeah, because you can go cheap on this, but these things you're gonna need name brand. And what we don't realize is we have indoctrinated ourselves with this perspective that if something is not name brand, then it is not quality. And he said, well, if that's the case, then how come the food here is higher than the food that you would get from the name brand? Wait a minute. What? Because now you're dealing with pure ingredients. Now you're dealing with things that have not been pre-processed and fabricated and altered in a way that makes you feel good but ain't good for you. I feel like running. He said because the foods that you've been eating, they taste good, but they actually don't feel good. You be bloated, stomach be hurting, gaining weight, full at the wrong time. You feel good for the moment. And that's what's been happening with name brands. We're judging people off of these labels that we feel like have they stand for something and that means something. So oh yeah, because I don't eat that brand. I don't do that. And we don't even know that what we've been doing is we've been cutting out our own choices. I thought it was about just making different choices at the same store. And he was telling me you just at the wrong store. Somebody gonna catch this in the spirit. Oh, get out that store. Get out of Publix. Get out of Target. Go to Whole Foods. You're not gonna be in familiar territory. And you're going to actually have to spend more. I spent so much time there because if I were anywhere else, baby, I would just be going straight through. I know where it is. I know what to get. Yeah, no, but you're going to have to lean in. Y'all better hear this. You're going to have to pick this up and you're going to have to inspect the ingredients. He was trying to show me something. He said, see, because we want it. Y'all know how we do. Oh, I can just tell from far away. That ain't it. I don't want that. With your funny acting self. Because it ain't packaged like we used to. Oh, I can already tell you because I know what I like. And that, baby, you better get closer and you better read those ingredients. Because this time it was not about the label. It was about the ingredients. And I love it because at Whole Foods, oh, y'all better catch these revelations. Because usually when you at the store, at the regular grocery store, the label is on the front. The ingredients are on the back. Y'all better hear the intentionality in this. You pick it up and you see what the name is first. But if you want to know what's inside, you got to flip that bad boy over and then it be in such small print. You just be like, you know what? Which is why the Lord said to me, you don't even know the name of this particular food that you get. You just look for the color of the box. And I was like, what in the what? You know what? Now you that's true. Because which is it this brand or is it this brand? And I said, I don't know. I just looked for the blue box with the little white. And then he was like, exactly. Because they know that if you can just associate this with a look, y'all better hear it. If you can just associate this with the emblem, if you can just associate it with the name, you're not going to inspect what's on the inside. Somebody need to hear this in the prophetic. Might be time to reevaluate what you think your type is and is not. And so at Whole Foods, the ingredients are on the front. You actually have to look for the name. If it even is a name brand, it's almost like an afterthought. But what's in the front are the ingredients and they print it boldly. You're going to pick it up and the first thing you're going to be seeing is, okay, what's in it? Immediately. Hey, hey, hey. I'm helping us, I hope, tonight. And so I spent more time there because I had to actually take my time and look at ingredients. And here it is. And I had to trust the labels, trust those ingredients. I was like, now I'm from the South and won't just be eating no chicken salad and no tuna like off no shelf, and I don't care how pure it is, and I mean, but and the Lord was like, get it. So I grabbed it, and I'm gonna just be honest, cause we're gonna tell the truth and shame the devil. It was so good, baby. Had never thought to do it. Stuffed that celery with chicken salad, and I was like, why is this so good? What in the what? Hear me. That little ice cream that I was looking for, my name brand, and then I saw the healthy, no name version of it, and I was like, though they were so good, and I did, y'all better hear it. Not only was it so good, I also didn't have to feel guilty about eating it. Oh, that was a Salah pause and think on that. So if I said, I'm just gonna eat two because these were good. And I was like, wait a minute. I went and looked at the box with the ingredients on the front. And I said, and I ain't gotta feel guilty because it was whole, because it was healthy on the get-go. I wanted to, I'm looking for my bread, and I'm like, I don't recognize these name brands. And the Lord was like, forget recognizing the brands. Do you recognize the ingredients? That's whole grain. um Okay. I'm going to share this last thing and I'm out of here, y'all, because I want us to get this. So, like I said, in March, I taught inside of the Grow Gathering a series called The Diet of Discipline, that you change your atmosphere by changing your appetite. And so the Lord gave me something very important. And I want to say this because I told you that this next season, the Lord said is going to be the what's going to be a telltale sign is going to be health consciousness. Proverbs 25:28 in the NLT says that a person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. I need y'all to hear this. When you are not operating in self-control as it relates to your health, your your dietary health, then you're probably not operating in self-control when it comes to your mental health. I'm going to look at the comments and I'm going to take ouches and amens over here. Because when you're undisciplined in one place, there is no way you're going to be so disciplined in another. So if you undisciplined when it come to eating and snacking and eating all of this, then you probably can find yourself going into bouts of emotional duress. Either you overwhelmed and crying, or you overly excitable and you stressed and anxious. Thank y'all, honest people in the ouch and amen corner. I appreciate y'all. So the cheat sheet for the next season and what God is trying to develop in us is discipline. This is why this series was called The Diet of Discipline. And again, you guys are welcome. If you're not a part of the Grow Gathering, it is an amazing virtual community for advancement. And so it's just for growth. That's what we call, we gather to grow spiritually, but also entrepreneurially, financially, personally. And so there is, and you can go back, in every teaching that I've done since February is there. But the March training or Bible study series was called The Diet of Discipline. And so we have to understand that what God is requiring for us in this season. And to join the Grow Gathering, you can simply go to thegrowgathering.com. The grow, three words, thegrowgathering.com. And there's a segment that says become a member. And you can join for free. It's like a social media without having to deal with social media, right? So there's a community. We get in there, we talk, we share, we give testimonies, we ask for help. And then we have weekly Bible study, weekly prayer, all kind of things. And so would love to have you guys be a part of that. But a person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. In this next season, the Bible says that we have this treasure in earthen vessels. But if we don't have self-control, we're like a city with broken down walls, which means anybody can steal our treasure. Y'all better hear this. Why? Because we don't have discipline. And so we're not a safe. We're not a safe place for these treasures to be. And so when we say things like they took advantage of me and they took me for a fool and they took me, no. And they took me for granted. Well, they couldn't take what you didn't give. And the reason they could take it was because you did not exercise self-control. I'm telling you, if you're just getting here, thank you and welcome. Make sure y'all go back and watch the prophetic word that I gave from the beginning, because I gave my little story about the whole foods and also about how God said this cheat sheet in this next season is going to be about health consciousness. So I need us to get this, because this is what the Lord is saying for us. And so when he started talking to me about the diet of discipline, he let me ask this question: what is a diet? It's control and restriction. Oh, somebody going to catch this tomorrow. It's your ability to control your mouth. It's to control your emotional outrage. It's to control your wandering mindset. It's to control your need to be in control. Diet is also about restriction. That means placing boundaries, letting your no be no. We're in a series now inside of the Grow Gathering called Audible Activations. And we're talking about the words that we release. And I was teaching on how the Bible says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything else, the devil, he can get in and he can distort it. And we start talking about, and I was teaching on this Monday, how a lot of us are out of our place, and we are dealing with all of this overwhelm because we have decided to chaperone the feelings of grown folks. Uh-oh. And God never called you to be an emotional chaperone. I'm trying not to run. It's like trying to take a 30-year-old to the prom. You sitting there and you afraid to say certain things or do certain things or put certain boundaries in place because you think you got to watch somebody else's feelings. Well, I didn't want to get them mad and I didn't want to make them look at me crazy. You're not Junior Jesus. You ain't doing the job of the Holy Spirit. No, stop chaperoning other people's emotions. So diet is about restriction and control. And that is something that I believe that the Lord is trying to lean in. I'm not going to teach this tonight because you guys can join the grow and watch it. But watch this. 1 Corinthians 10 and 23 says, you say I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. You say I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial. Telling you the cheat sheet in this season. Health consciousness. I am conscious of what effect this thing might have on my health, my spiritual health, my emotional health, my physical health, my psychological health. Yeah, you're allowed to do it, but it's not good for you. Not everything. You're allowed to do it, but is it beneficial? I hope this is helping y'all. So I talked about how a healthy diet is going to prevent you from malnourishment and protect you from disease. When we are health consciousness in this season, especially singles, y'all hear me, being able to be intentional about what you put in is going to help you from being, y'all know what they say in the world, thirsty and hungry, starving for attention. What do you think that phrase comes from? Because somewhere you dehydrated and malnourished because you are prioritizing everybody else but yourself, because you are making sure everybody else is good and you're accepting scraps, but you're also not being aware of what your body needs. You know you need to drink more water. You know you need more sleep. You know you need time off. You know you need to put them Twinkies up. It's trying to prevent you. And when you eat wrong, it creates cravings. Oh, I felt like running right then. When you eat wrong, you create. Well, I waited late in the day to eat, and then you wondering why 2 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden, you just gotta have chocolate. My, preach, Holy Ghost. But if you want to, being healthy, and again, I told you, healthy has 2 words: heal thy. That means you being aware of your wholeness. And I told you that the word heal also means to bring something to a conclusion. And so, if you want to prevent yourself from being hungry for attention and thirsty for validation, if you want to protect yourself from diseases like mistreatment and abuse, then you have to be aware, health, consciousness. I hope I'm teaching this thing and breaking this down. I really, really hope you're getting the message of this. I always say this, that if it's on you, then it's in you. And if it's not on you, then it's not in you. We attract what we articulate. And I said, if you want to change your atmosphere, you got to change your appetite. So if it's on you to always be performance oriented, then you're going to attract needy people because they can sense you're going to always try to take care of them. So they're going to always have a need. And then it's going to be an unhealthy codependency because then you're going to always want them to need you. So you're going to always continue to make yourself available, even when it puts you in a place of peril. There's another Salah moment. Matthew 15 and 10 says something. It says, and he called the people to him and said to them, hear and understand. Here's the big part. It is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of the mouth. This defiles a person. Y'all hear this aha moment? Now I was like, wait a minute. Break this down. He goes a little further and he says, don't you see that whatever goes in your mouth, it's going to pass through your stomach and get expelled? But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and that's what's defiling you. So here's what we got to understand, that we say things like, life was just a hard pill to swallow. That's fine, but at some point it should have already came out. At some part, because if you still holding on to trauma and holding on to bitterness and holding on to resentment and holding on to offense, then you constipated emotionally, spiritually. And a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and all means all. So you're probably constipated financially. You probably constipated relationally. I can't hear nobody saying nothing in these comments. Because at some point, it should have processed itself out. People who are health conscious are intentional about making sure that nothing sits in their body too long. They are conscious about detoxing. They are conscious about making sure that they're eating something that helps them have healthy bowels. Y'all better hear me. I said in this next season, the cheat sheet is finding people. How will you know if somebody is beneficial to you? How do you know if it's a green light or a red light? Are they health conscious? Because if it's in you, it's on you. So if bitterness is in you somewhere, it's on you. It's on your person. It's on your outlook. It's out on your responsiveness to things. Healthy people who are health conscious, and I'm not talking about they the ideal weight and they make sure they go to the gym every day. I'm talking about they are intentional with their awareness about what they're positioning themselves around and what they're taking in and what they're putting out. They are intentional about not letting in. And baby, when you go back, and those of you all that want to join the Grow Gathering, like I said, it's free. And we have Revelation Real Bible Study, and I taught this entire message as a 4-week Bible study training in March. And one of the things I talked about is healthy people know how to pass gas. Y'all better hear this in the spirit, as even it relates to relationships. Well, I ain't trying to, I don't want to be embarrassed because you know that, and I'm gonna just hold everything in. And then you wondering why your stomach cramping. You wondering why you having digestive issues. It's because you don't know how to pass gas. You don't know how to get rid of the stuff that's stinking on the inside of you and get it out of you, because what's in you is what's messing you up. It's not what's coming out of you. What's going in you that's messing you up. It's what's coming out of you. That smell, you don't want to pass it. Guess what? It's gonna come out through your breath. Oh, y'all better hear this. That's scientific. You can always tell a person that does not have a healthy bowel movement because that's what their mouth smell like. Oh, hear that in the spirit. You still got stuff on the inside of you. You still carrying all of this foolishness from 20 years ago and from last season. And then you wonder why when you say stuff, there's a bitterness, there's a stench to it, because you ain't learned how to let it pass from you. Can y'all handle this tonight? I feel my apostolic anointing sitting on me tonight. I got two more things and I'm out of here. Catch the whole series. There are so many benefits from being nutritious, having a nutritious diet. And I'm not going to get into them, but they have everything to do with from extending your life to shifting your mood to giving you energy. So last thing I'm going to say about this is when we look at Galatians 5:22, it talks about the fruit of the Spirit. And in this next season, we will know them by their fruit. Their fruit. And again, health consciousness. If a person, we love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So, we about to do something that might hurt your feelings a little bit. So if you were to calculate how well you love yourself based on how you treat yourself, based on how much grace you give yourself, based on how much rest you allow yourself to have, based on how healthy your eating habits are, based on how much time you spend nurturing your body and trying to bring it under subjection. What kind of grade would you get? I want everybody to think on a scale of 1 to 10. If you had to judge yourself, give yourself a grade on how well you treat yourself, what would you score? Now, that ain't even the kicker, because I said this was a prophetic word for relationships and for singles. Now, if the Bible says love your neighbor as you love yourself, then I want you to know that that's the number that you would be giving somebody else to. So if I'm at a 2, I don't need to be looking for nobody. Oh, it's quiet. Because I'm not going to be able to give them, you only know them by their fruit. You couldn't love yourself because you're beating up on yourself. You couldn't have joy because you already always depressed. You couldn't have patience because you always aggravated. You're not kind because you allow things, bitterness to make you mean. No gentleness, self-control, baby, in traffic. We got to think about it. So whatever my grade is, that's the best I can do for somebody else. Prep work. I said that the Lord gave me this secondary name for this. And he said perception and preparation. So we've got to begin thinking about how we have positioned ourselves, labeled things, what we're looking for and desiring. And if we are truly in a place where we are being health consciousness, are we exemplifying health consciousness? So my prayer, and I pray that this word was a blessing for you all, is that in this next season, you have a greater revelation, and prayerfully, you guys can let me know in the comments if this was a word that gave you clarity. Thank you guys. I see you in the comments. And my prayer is for God to allow the eyes of our understanding to be enlightened, that He will begin to show us. He will begin to help us get past the facades, and help us get past the labels and start getting to the ingredients, and helping us to start being intentional about who we are and how we are, because we're only going to attract after our own selves. We're only going to duplicate and replicate who we already are. And so God is going to change our nature. That's a song I've been listening to. I used to be back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, a BB and CC Water fan, and they had this song called "Change Your Nature," and one of the verse, the chorus said, "I can change your mind and I can change your heart, but it's up to you if you'll stay apart. Know that I am God and I am able to change your nature." We need an appetite change so that our atmosphere can change. So I pray that you receive this word, that it is a light and a lamp, and that the Lord continue to cultivate us for this season, and that the Lord continue to prepare us for what is coming, because we got to be prepared for what we've been praying for. You don't get to be praying that God send you a spouse, God send you a man, God send you a wife, and then we're not in a position that we are properly, because they're looking, and we're telling on ourselves when we say things like, "Child, I didn't hardly get no sleep. I was up and I was taking care of them," and they're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, I don't." I don't want to be partnered with somebody, because if you always tired, then you're gonna be aggravated and angry, and you always putting everybody else first. Then our relationship is not gonna be a priority. And I'm watching you eating that, and then you complaining later about your back and your stomach, and then it's a telltale sign. So I believe that God is giving us this word so that we create a different level of consciousness, so that He can release to us the things. And I don't think the Lord would have been giving this word if He does not have something for us. I believe that the reason God is releasing this word is because He has some prepared partnerships that are waiting, but He's not going to release anything that we have not made room for. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm not on social media much because we do so much inside of the Grow Gathering. But again, if you guys want to join the Grow, you can simply go to thegrowgathering.com and join our free community. It's an amazing community. You'll get prayed for, you'll get challenged. We got health clubs in there, wealth clubs in there to help us learn about money. It's just a lot going on, and we have so many new things that we're about to add in. So get in there. Join the text messaging club so you can get alerted. We have Revelation Around Bible study every Monday night, and prayer every Wednesday morning, and just all kind of things. And so be a part. But also, as it relates to how to prepare for what's coming, if you have not already, at next weekend, I am launching this amazing virtual conference with attorney Takora Davis. And I don't want y'all to miss this. You have so much intellect and so many things that you're doing that so many people can benefit from, but it can be stolen if you don't own your stuff, or if something happens and you lose your paycheck, or you lose your platform, or you lose your pulpit, or there's another pandemic. Do you got a plan? Not even do you have, do you got one? If you lose your place, we are going to be teaching. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a prophetic activation, but I can't activate. There's no activation without revelation. And there's no revelation without information. And so you guys can go to revelationrevenue.com, and there are payment options there. But I really want you guys to come join us next weekend for this 2-day event, virtual event, that's really going to help you profit from what you've already produced. And it's going to give you a strategy for the uncertainty of what potentially could be coming down the line, because it is the will of God that we prosper and be in health, even as our soul prospers. So once again, thank you guys. Come join us over at the Grow, or, see you guys again whenever the Lord gives me another pop up. But may the Lord bless and keep you. May He cause His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May He turn His countenance towards you. And most of all, may He give you peace and peace. I'll see you.